championship mode. You're not on the wrong channel, by the way. So let me call the host to come and welcome you guys officially.
Hey, what's up, fam?
I'm good, and yourself?
How are you doing?
I'm alright.
Thanks for coming through. I know it's early in the day, but we're here. Welcome to Championship Mode, another feature, first episode for the month of February. We're keeping it rolling. Road to 1,000
subscribers. Let's go. And that much time as well. So make sure you watch all the way to the end because this episode is definitely going to be jam-packed.
Fam, thank you. A year later.
Yeah, we've been meaning to do this for a while. So
a year later, yeah.
Finally sit down and get something going.
So, I think for me, today's episode is a mix of two things. I want to introduce our friendship. You know, I think we've been friends for such a long time. 10 whole years. Hey!
A decade of awesomeness.
Our tag team is in the background there doing some work. So yeah, I want to talk about our friendship and then dive into your journey, your social media journey that you started just before lockdown, and now you talk about...
during lockdown actually, 2020.
Yep.
I think everybody's career took off from there. Too much time on our hands, and we're just what should I do?
And we always talked about it, right? And you were always doing it, which was really empowering, right?
Yes.
So I want to talk about that, your journey, your presence, how you blew up. I still think you got a few glow ups in you this year. Do you know what I mean?
This year has started off on a good foot, so yeah, can't wait to see what it has in store. And
then we get into your expertise, financial wellness, and how that applies on a day-to-day basis. Yeah. All right, guys, before we go, hit the subscribe button. If you're here for the first time, thank you, like, share. If you've been here before, you know how we do. Let's go. Fam, intros first. Who is Malebo Nkosi? What do you do? Where did you come from?
Okay, so Malebo Nkosi, the person. I don't like introducing myself, by the way, because I'm a bit of a slasher, so I don't know what to say most of the time.
We want all the slashes, please.
I am a content creator, affiliate marketer, digital entrepreneur, mechanical engineer, all those awesome things. So,
Igwe.
Yeah, you know this.
Awesome. Yeah. We met in 2013, and what do you think the biggest change has been when we met in 2013 to a decade later?
From you or our friendship?
Our friendship. Oh, me, whatever. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I think our friendship, we're close, but as much as this, we're all doing our own thing.
Yeah.
The love is there. When you've got your people, that's how a friendship is. The people you can count on when it comes to any given thing. I think that's how a friendship is, when you just have those real people in your circle. And you can just call them when it's real, when life is real, and you're I need someone to talk to. That's those type of friendship. It has transcended everything, really. It's not about proximity, all of those things.
I must say, I was really sad when you were in Eastern Cape. I was yo, I have to call you every day. Yeah, but then, I think we made the efforts to keep in touch.
Those 3-hour-long calls will just catch up because life has just been lifing, as I call it. But yeah, definitely. I think with friendship, you have to give it some effort. I think with any relationship, but even with friendship, you need to take the time out of your schedule and nurture it. As we grow, we tend to grow apart a bit because we're all so busy. But it's just finding that 2 minutes of your time and just telling that person that I'm here, and just reaffirming that friendship, because it's not easy. Any relationship is not easy.
I think for me, I love the phases we've been through.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? We used to do everything together. Then I took the gap year, and then I came back, and it was like ambassadors of bad decisions. We did that.
I'd rather forget that season.
Yeah,
but
listen.
it's the seasons that we had, like
We did
this
that.
multifacetedness. I think that's how it was.
Yeah, and I mean,
And
we did
just
TED.
evolved. Oh, TED was
You know,
so
we
cool.
did TED. We did TED for a second time. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, TED was
Vice
really
chair. It was a really good tag team.
cool.
And then you went to Eastern Cape, and then you came back, and then you did the social media thing.
Yeah.
And that is my next question, right?
Yes.
How did you decide that you wanted to put yourself out on social media? And how has your journey been? What are you proud of community living? Why community living? Can you give us some nuggets?
Okay, so the name itself is just suggests what I was trying to build. Like, I wanted a digital community, so like, okay, I'm someone that likes engaging. Like, if I would see a post, I'd engage on it. Then I realized I actually wanted to build a community of like-minded individuals. So I was like, maybe let me just do this. I started to understand a bit more about creating on YouTube. So I was like, this is a good challenge to take on. And I think I have a couple of things to share, especially when it came to financial literacy, because in our Black community, finance
you immediately went to like the financial aspect. Was there like something that drew you? Was it like from your personal experiences, or like you said, looking in your community, you were like, this is something we struggle with?
I think not just my community, it's like where I come from. I think in the Black community as a whole, finance is such a new topic to us, and we're seeing a lot of individuals coming up, like they are starting to work in such good environments. But if we can't take that wealth or take that income that we are making and make the most out of it, it's all going to fall to waste, really. We're going to be in the same place that we currently are maybe 30 years from now, because we're not cultivating or we're not utilizing that wealth the right way. So in my head, I'm just like, we definitely need to redirect this wealth the right way, so that 10 years from now we're not facing the same struggles. So if we don't have these conversations openly, and money is still like such a huge taboo, and we're not even talking about where do we invest, how do we invest, why do we save, and all those important conversations, these things are just going to be a struggle continuously, and that vicious cycle of just us staying in the same place is going to be perpetuated for like decades. So it's just like, I need to be at the forefront of this. There are other people, but this is such a good topic, and a topic that's so dear to my heart.
And you have something to contribute.
Yeah, definitely.
And how did that fit with your social media journey? Why YouTube? And now you're kind of like mega on TikTok.
YouTube was the...
I mean, you can run us through some of the numbers. Don't be modest. Don't be modest. Come on.
Well, we're on road to 12,000. So we're going to have another video on the other side. So go and check us out on the other side. So it's called Community Living. And yeah, it's more... Now we're more focused on wealth creation, or different ways that one can make money. But basically, it's all about finance, really. If you go to my 2020 video, it's still as relevant as it was in 2020. So
yes, please. Before we dive into the financial wellness, maybe you want to drop your social media handles so that my champs can find you. I'll also include in the bio in case you missed it.
Okay, so TikTok, it's how to make money 27. There are a lot of accounts, but yeah, we're not gonna talk about
Let's
that.
not go into that.
Make sure it's the right account. Let me just say that. Make sure it's the right account. So that is my handle on TikTok. Then on Instagram is Malebo _Nkosi. Make sure it's the right account again. Twitter, Malebo _Nkosi. LinkedIn, you can follow me on Malebo Nkosi. And Facebook, Malebo Nkosi, but Facebook is another thing. Yeah. YouTube community living. So that's where you'll find me on YouTube. But as I mentioned, we have another episode that you can check out. So if you like what you're seeing right now, there's definitely
which you
more of
do
this.
naturally, right?
Yeah.
But thank you, fam. Thank you for giving us that portfolio. I mean, yeah, you've been doing this for what, 3 years now, right?
Yeah, 3 years.
Fantastic. Tell us, what is financial wellness? In your own words, right? So not like a Urban Dictionary or like Oxford Dictionary.
I don't use dictionaries for finance because it's a personalized thing. Finance, unless if you're doing it for a company, you need to personalize finance,
that's a good point.
So if you financial wellness for me and financial wellness for you are totally different, but it needs to have similarities in order for it to have that whole we are trying to manage our finance the right way. So I think financial wellness encompasses just one, understanding of finance, right? So if you don't know what you are doing in your financial journey, it's going to be very tricky in achieving financial wellness. Two, it involves management of your finance, and obviously, if you've done one really well, where you understand like a lot of financial topics, which are not really hard. Like the basics is just understand. Once you understand savings and investing, that's really what finance is about, and then budgeting as the third topic. So understand those three, and you really set, or you're already on your way of becoming someone that has a good financial journey or healthy financial journey. So that's what I would say financial wellness is all about for me: the understanding of finance and the management of it.
And then the budgeting.
And yeah, so the budgeting involves the knowledge that you need to have in the understanding of how finance actually works in a personal capacity. Because there are a lot of jargons out there. You're gonna find so much information, but also customize it for yourself. So it's the customization of it as well.
So like you said, it's personal.
It's personal.
Financial wellness should be personal.
Yeah, very.
Before we move on to the next one, what would you say a financially fit young professional looks like? What are their money habits, or how do they deal with their money?
Yeah, I think one of the most important lessons that I learned in my journey as a financial enthusiast is the concept of paying yourself first, right? So someone that is basically managing their finances really well does pay themselves on a regular basis, pay themselves first on a regular basis. So with me as someone that is following a journey with God, that will involve my tithing, but for others, obviously that's not going to be the case. But then the second thing would be your saving and investing. So 10% of it should go to 10% of your salary on every single month should go to saving and investing.
10% each, or 10% then you figure out
10%. It starts with 10%, but as you grow, it can go all the way to 30%, right? So, but initially, when you start, just get maybe a rule of thumb of I try to save at least 10%. And the paying yourself first is that when the money hits the bank, the first thing that you are actually doing is not to pay your rent, is to go and save, so that it forces you to end up having money for all those expenses as well. So if you can't save that 10%, it means in your finances you have not made means for that, right? You're not planning wisely for your finances. And we have a lot of things, especially as Black people, things like black tax that we have to take care of. But even
and you talk about black tax.
Yes, because I also have to face black tax as a Black.
You know what to do. Check out that link.
I've covered that topic in terms of what it is and what we can do as Black people to just try and accommodate it, because the reality of the situation is that it's there, it exists, and we have to face it.
Deal with it.
We have to face it in one way or the other. So that's basically what I'd say for a young professional: paying yourself first and making sure that it's at least 10% of your monthly salary. And obviously, if you have tithing, that becomes 20%. So you have to deal with everything else on 80%, on that 80%, and that's just a good rule of thumb to start with.
Okay, let's talk about goals.
So,
what is the purpose of financial wellness? What should we be aiming for when we say we're financially fit individuals, or I take care of my finances quite well?
I think, it encompasses the goal aspect, right? So when you know why you are saving money, it sort of helps you to become financially fit or financially well, right? So you'll have multiple reasons of saving money, but if you don't really have those goals, it's easy to take the money that you saved in the past 2-3 months because it's not going to a tangible reason or goal. So those goals inform so much of what you are doing. So for example, I say the very first financial goal to have when it comes to savings anyways, is having an emergency fund. So understanding the purpose of an emergency fund will help you to be able to remain disciplined in saving up for that emergency fund, essentially, right?
Okay,
so that
so
emergency
first
fund,
fund.
that emergency fund will be set up. You'll know that, okay, I'm saving 3 to 6 months worth of either my income or expenses. So before you reach that goal, that is the goal that you're working towards. So that is just pushing you, motivating you that I need that 3 to 6 months worth of my expenses or my my income, right? Then once you've done that, the tools will then be encompassing that. Yeah, so it's like, okay.
Just before we move on, so your emergency fund should be about 2 or 3 times your take home salary.
So it's 3 to 6 months worth of your either income or salary. It depends on your risk profile, right? So how conservative are you? So if you feel like I have a lot of risk that I have to protect myself against, then it might be an income. But if you're like, okay, no, I don't have a lot of risk, then it can just be expenses, because your expenses and your income should not be the same thing.
Guys,
so
it shouldn't.
It should be the same thing. So if you are earning 20k, your expenses should not be 20k. Right? So it should be at least, let's just say between 60 and 80. But as we talked about that whole concept of 20% going to paying yourself first.
Correct.
Yeah. So we don't include savings and investing in your expenses because, we understand that.
All right. So cool. Emergency fund. Tick. What else can you tell us?
So you ask about the tools, like what informs the tools. So yes, you get your financial goal set up. The first one is an emergency fund. Then you know how much you need to save. Then in terms of the tools, that's what's going to inform how you basically set up that emergency fund. Now we're talking about the type of account you need to use, right?
Okay.
So it's one way it has to be, the liquidity is very high, because with an emergency, if something happens today.
Explain liquidity.
Okay, liquidity just means you have access to your funds almost immediately, right?
Okay.
So cool. I'm not going to use I don't use dictionary definitions. So, no.
Okay, I got it. So you have money almost immediately.
Yes. So it's the fact that, like, if you have funds somewhere, you can access them almost immediately. Because if something is not like a liquid asset, it will, like, let's just say property. The liquidity of property is not as good as maybe a stock. Because you can just sell it almost immediately and get the funds. But with property, it could take 3 months and stuff like that.
All of that.
Yes. So then with basically that being said, I wouldn't save my emergency fund in a property, right? I would save it in maybe a gold save account on Time Bank. Because if I want the money right now, I just withdraw that amount.
That's the purpose of an emergency fund, right?
But I still need to remain disciplined in that. I have access to it all the time, but I know the purpose behind that fund. So I don't access it all nilly-willy just because I can. It, like, that goal is what's informing this discipline, in a sense, to say I'm going to remain disciplined and I'm going to have this money in here. It doesn't even exist. I don't even count it as part of my net worth. I don't have this money. This money is like insurance. Like when you have an insurance,
I don't see it.
like you have medical aid insurance, but you don't feel like, okay, I've paid 20,000 to Discovery, right?
Yeah.
That's the same concept behind this emergency fund. And obviously, if you have another goal, like, okay, I'm saving towards a down payment for a car, you also know that, okay, this is for a car. This is not for if the guys are going out, or if there's a trip to Durban or whatever. And also, if you want a trip to Durban, the same.
You need your own.
And maybe if you know it's a year from now, then the tools will be informed by that to say, okay, I can maybe use a fixed account, because with a fixed account I get a higher interest, and I'm only going to access these funds a year from now anyways.
Okay,
and
so that's a different type of tool.
Yeah, that's a different type of tool. That's why I'm saying that the goal itself informs the tools. So yeah, I hope that makes sense.
You mentioned discipline a lot, and,
Yes.
and maybe it feeds into my last question. You've dropped a lot. Now I have to go look at my budget. But you just left varsity, you got your first job, and if someone is, asks you, Malebo, I know you do financial wellness, what are the 3 things that I must start aiming, or I must start changing to put me on the best track to reach financial wellness? What advice would you give a 22-year-old, who's starting a new job?
Yeah, I think it will be very similar to what I shared about financial wellness. It's so important to understand finance from a personal perspective.
Okay.
Right? So if you don't understand what your banker is talking about when you're asking about a specific financial product that you want to take out, or that you want to use for whatever reason, then it's a problem. If you don't understand the difference between like credit card facilities, your overdraft facilities, all those different facilities that are available towards you, you're going to end up using the wrong one. There's some people that take like maybe a personal loan to buy a car instead of taking vehicle financing, which has a better interest rate. Right. So if you understand those minor differences, or actually not that minor, because it makes
the
interest.
difference,
Yeah,
right?
The interest rate, 14% versus prime is such a huge
difference.
Financial difference, which a lot of people make those type of mistakes in life and only learn very later on in life.
When they're tied in the
Yes,
contract.
when they're tied in the contract and there's nothing they can do anymore. So it's so important as a 22-year-old to understand all that jazz, right? Especially credit facilities, because that's where a lot of people get into debt. And then in terms of savings, why is it important to save, right?
Okay.
Versus just taking everything on credit? Why is it so important to invest versus just, I'll start investing when I'm 30? Why 30 and not now, So, and also not just focusing on maybe just the one that you get from work, understanding that it also plays a role in your financial wellness, but it's not an encompassing tool where just because you're paying for your pension fund, then you're financially secure for the future, right?
Mm-hmm.
So you still
So
need
that's
to
retirement. Now we're talking about
Yes, now we're talking about retirement.
Okay.
So if you can say that the one that your company helps you to pay for will cover you in the future, then cool. You can be secured. Every single one of them you need to scrutinize to like their teeth to say, am I covered 40, 60 years from now? Am I going to be able to afford the house that I'm staying in? Are my kids covered in terms of their tuition? Will I be able to go to Bali, because I haven't been going to Bali since I'm working? All those things. So you need to start thinking about them as a 22-year-old, not as a 50-year-old, when now it's too late to make a change in those type of things. You had 30 years or 40 years that you could have used, but unfortunately, bad financial planning took over.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Awesome, fam. That was so wholesome.
Yes.
But yeah, thank you guys. I mean, this is literally my source for everything finance, right? She talked about what you should focus on with regard to goal setting, the tools you should use to complement your financial wellness, the 1 or 2 quickest things to focus on. Think about retirement. Think about the products that you're getting. Think about how much you want to save, but how it'll work for you. So, I mean, it's a new topic for Championship Mode. I focus on holistic wellness, and financial wellness is a part of that.
Yeah,
so it's something we're going to start talking about more and more, but she's got the juice. So community living, if anybody asks me about financial wellness, I literally just send it forward to her. But as usual, thank you for tuning in. We're here, Championship Mode Collective, Road to 1000. Fam, any closing remarks?
Well, start managing your finance.
And stay in championship mode.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you. Bye.